Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Let me make sure I got my microphone on. Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. I hope you're having a great day today. And I hope God blesses your socks off today. Now look, we're out here at my house and I kind of got a little, not really a predicament, but something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I've put it off for a while. I've made excuses to not do it for a while. And my neighbor put up a fence in their backyard, which is, it's their property, it's their home. I respect whatever they do over there on their side of the land, and I'm completely okay with it. Matter of fact, there's nothing I can do about it, so why complain about it? They had this fence up there, and as you know, I had a little strip of grass on the other side. These are cryptomeria and maple right here. For those of you wondering, I get asked that a lot. What are these big green trees? They're cryptomeria, and they're maple. I think they're autumn blaze maple in between it. I think that's the technical name for them. I just call them maple trees. I've always had this strip of grass on the back side of the pine needles, and it kind of goes over to their fence, and their fence is actually the property line. So what I've been wanting to do for a while is make my beds a little bit bigger, simply because the cryptomeria, let's get over here so I can show you. It's a little bit shady right now, so it may be hard to see it, but this cryptomeria, they get massive. I'm 6'1", and you can see it's a big tree. And not only does it grow up, it grows out. And you can see my turf is out here, and the drip line of the tree is about here. So that's roughly, well, let me tell you exactly what that is. That's about 33 inches of overhang right here. Now you can't see it on TV, but this area right here, right up under this tree, is getting too shady. That's the issue I'm running into. Tall fescue likes an abundance of sun, and just around the edges it's getting a little shady. Also, the root system of the tree is making its way out here, so the turf right around the edges is getting a little bit thin and weak compared to the turf right here. This is super dense, super thick, can't even see the ground. And over here it thins out just a little bit, and that's too thin for me. I'm kind of anal. I want this super duper thick all the way up to the bed. Springtime, yes, this will thicken up a little bit. It's cause we ain't got that much daylight time right now, not a lot of sunshine, so this kind of thins out a little bit, and it'll perk back to life a little bit in the spring and thicken up, and it'll look good up until about the June-ish time frame, when it starts getting hot and I start watering a little bit more heavy, and then this area will begin to thin out again during the summer. I repair it during the fall with aerating and seeding. It pops back to life in the fall, and we start the cycle all over again. I'm just tired of fighting it. To be 100% honest with you, I'm tired of fighting this area. Now, I could come out and swing this bed out a little bit and go back in to kind of cover this up, but that's going to look funky, okay? It's going to look really funky. So instead of doing it in this one section, I'm going to do it all the way around, the same amount of distance. And when they put the fence in, that kind of pushed me over the edge to go on and get this done. Reason being, let me show you. So you can see this little strip right here. It is exactly it's right at 6 feet. Now this turf over here, it's not irrigated. My irrigation system don't catch it or none of that. It looks pretty good for the most of the year. If it gets super hot, super dry, it does struggle a little bit because it doesn't get the water, but you can see it always tends to pop back to life. If I'm gonna mow this with a mower, 100% of the time I'm gonna be more inclined to bag it or to catch the clippings, because number one, I don't want to throw clippings over into the pine needles, and number two, I don't want their clippings over onto their brand new fence. I want to be respectful of their property and their stuff. So that's what's leading me to make this decision and do what I'm going to do here. I'm going to round up and smoke off this strip down through here. And what that's going to do is, one, it's going to cost me a little more money. I realize that, because I'm going to come all the way out with the pine needles all the way over to the fence. But it's going to save me quite a bit of time over the year. I only do the pine needles once a year. It's going to save me quite a bit of time, because I don't have to mow this. I don't have to weed eat along the fence or any of that. I don't have to aerate and seed it. I don't have to fertilize it. I don't have to fungicide it. I don't have to weed control it. I don't have to do anything. Really gonna make the maintenance a little easier over here. So what does that have to do with this side over here? Well, I got a twofold issue going on. Number one is the shade issue. Now you can see this cryptomeria right here, it ain't quite as wide as that one. It's catching about, I don't know, 12 or 16 inches of turf, so it ain't quite as filled out as that one. But if you go around the yard, all of them are getting really, really close to my turf. And you know, I'm a grass guy. My grass is going to, what's a good way to word this? I want my grass to outperform anything in the yard. Okay, I want everything in the yard to look good, but I want my grass to be priority, I guess is a good way to say it. So the turf is going to have priority over the tree every time. Every single time. Anything I change in the yard, my turf always gets the last say so. That's the first part of it, is I want to eliminate this little bit of shady, damp area around the edge. Number two, I'm a symmetrical nut. You can come out here to my yard and I'll give you a tape measure, and you can walk around this yard and you can measure the distance between plants, the distance between the columns to the house. Everything gets squared up and symmetrical. I am absolutely beyond anal about that kind of stuff. I'm not perfect with it, but I am anal about it. As far as, I mean, when I planted all this, I come out here with a dang tape measure and measured it off down to the inch and planted everything you see in the yard. Because when we bought this home, none of this was here. Absolutely nothing. It was a house. It was a stamped concrete patio in the back, and it was a row, one small row of shrubbery against the front of the house, and everything else you see I put in over time. I take a lot of pride in what I do. I like for my craftsmanship, my work, my quality to show. I like for you guys to see that in the video. I like for you to see the pride that I take in my yard, my property. This was an expensive property, and I want to maintain it and take care of it the best I can, so I take pride in that. Is if I've got 6 foot over there, I want 6 foot over here, so let's measure 6 foot, and then I'm gonna look at it and see what it looks like. All right, so let's come over here where I got some sunshine where you can actually see me. Let's pull out 6 foot, and I can go on and tell you now, when I do this, this is probably going to be a little more grass than I want to lose. Yes, I absolutely want to get rid of some of the grass around the edge because of my shade issue, but at the same time, I don't think I want to lose that much grass. See, I'm going to come out here and connect the dots right here, like that. Now that's a big chunk of grass right there. I'm not sure I want to do away with that much. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna inch back a little bit. I'm gonna come back here to 5 foot ain't really gonna give me a big difference. So I'm gonna come back here to 4 foot. And I got this microphone on, so you can probably hear me breathing like crazy. I am out of shape. I'm going to tell you that right now. I've been sitting up in the winter, not doing much of nothing except working on the computer, and I'm huffing and puffing. I've been in the yard all day working. Now let's look at that right there. I kind of get a visual on it. I'm actually imagining myself mowing. I'm imagining myself edging. I'm just trying to, I'm putting mental pictures in my mind. I'm doing flyovers with a drone, kind of seeing what all this will look like. And honestly, I think the 4 foot is going to be better. Let's see what 3 foot looks like. Let's do that just to give us one more look at it to see. Because, you know, here's another thing about doing stuff like this in the yard. This is a big decision. I mean, it's a major decision actually, because once I get rid of this grass, the only way I can get it back is plant some more, and that's just more money and more work and more time that I just don't want to get into. So when I do it, I want to do it right the first time. Or maybe not do it right the first time, do it in a way that I'm pleased with the first time. Now when I come back and look at that, 3 foot, I can tell a difference between the 3 foot and the 4 foot. And I think 3 foot's what we're gonna go with. I think that's what we'll do. Let's go over here in another spot in the yard and mark it and see what that looks like. Let's go right here. This was the tree I was at earlier, showing you where the main part of the issue's at. And let's mark it 3 foot right here. Another thing that just come to mind when I edge these beds out, when I cut me a new edge in here, you know, if I screw up and don't get it right the first time, then I gotta fill that edge back in, redo all that. I think I can live with that. I'm just imagining coming up mowing, turning around, going. I think I can go with that. I think 3 foot's gonna be my number. Yeah, here's another thing. Let's say 3 foot ain't the number. Let's say I go 3 foot all the way around and I go mowing a whole year, and for whatever reason under the sun, I decide that ain't enough. Well, then next winter, I can just come back here and inch it out a little bit if I want to. But what I'm seeing here, I'm thinking 3 foot would be good. I think I'll like it. Let's come right back over here. Maybe you can see the line a little bit better. You can see it's right here's my 3 foot. That right there is my 4 foot. And way out yonder is my, what did we say that was, 6 foot. So that's a good chunk of grass right there for 6 foot. That's just, I think it's too much. 4 was pretty close to what I'm looking for, but I really think 3 is going to be my magic number. So let's come back here, and then we're on the back side back here. This is a test plot over here, Kentucky bluegrass. I've got the different spots of the different varieties of fescue and a little bit of rye over there we're testing. And the fence is over here to my right. Now, I want this side to match up with that side over there. Yeah, I know, some of you can do math pretty good. You've already figured out that 6 and 3 ain't the same. But that, again, my turf is my #1 priority. So, if I'm 6 foot against the fence over there, and I'm just 3 foot over here, am I gonna lose sleep because it's not 6 and 6? No, I'm gonna go to bed, I'm gonna sleep like a rock tonight, and I'll sleep well and get up and go to work. Nothing's gonna change. But again, my turf is #1 priority. So I can live with that little bit of area not being perfectly symmetrical, if that makes any sense. So we'll come back here, mark this off at 3, all the way around. And again, I want to be adamant about why I'm doing this. The root issue is the trees are getting big. When the neighbor put the fence in over there, that just kind of motivated me to get it done. Here we go. That's going to be 3 foot, so this will go all the way down there. Let me show you what I'm going to do over here at the fence. All right, so let's come right here, and I'm going to find the absolute point of no return, which is going to be right here in this curve right here. I'm going to find my 3 foot. And right as the line is straightening up, right as the edge of the bed is getting straight, which is right about there, that is where I'm going to start my 3 foot at. My 3 foot's going to be right there. Okay. Now when I come over to the fence, what I don't want to do, I don't want to continue a 6 foot bed all the way down. I don't think I want to. That's a whole lot more pine needles and I lose more grass, and I don't think I really want to do that. So let's try this first and see how this works. Let's come off of this 2 foot, 24 inches. And let's measure up like this to about where my first mark was, like that. All right, so I'm 2 foot off of this fence right here, like so. Now, I'm gonna create a curve right here, and I want the curve to be in such a way that it makes it super easy for mowing. I don't want any jerky movements or nothing like that. So I'm just gonna kind of come right here, just kind of eyeball it, tie right into that. And look at there. Look how easy that was. So that way I can just, and then I think this is going to be reel mode, and a reel mower don't turn super easy on, you know, curved areas. So it'll come right through here, and that'll follow right up down through there. So I think that's what I'm going to do here. Now I'll go a season, and I'll look at this. And if I decide I want to pull this out to 6 foot all the way down so it matches up here as it does down here, I'm renovating this back here this fall. I'm gonna smoke all this off, irrigate it, level it, put Kentucky bluegrass in, and at that point in time, I will have seen this enough and mowed it enough, I can make my mind up if I want to go 6 foot down through here, or if that 2 foot's going to be enough to satisfy me. And I will say this, when you get out from around this edge right here where I'm having a little bit of a shade issue, that turf right there, that's as thick and as dense as I've ever seen it at this time of the year. We've been here 9 years, I believe. It is absolutely showing off right now. I know it's middle of January and the colors is a little off. It's not glowing green. It ain't shining like a new penny right now, but that's just a month away. So my next step is I'm gonna come out here with my string trimmer, weed eater, and you know how I turn it up and the line goes like this instead of like this. You know, you typically use a string trimmer and, you know, weed whack or whatever you call it, and trim up some high spots. Well, I'll turn it up on its side, and the string will be going like this, and that's how I edge my beds and cut those nice clean lines. So what I'll do is I'll take my paint and I'll continue marking this out 3 foot all the way around, and then I'll take that string trimmer and right on that painted line, whoops, it's still wet, right on that painted line, I'll come down through here and draw a line. I'll use it kind of like a pencil and draw me a line right down through here. And then once I do that, I'm gonna come out here with my mower and I'm gonna get on the inside. I'm not gonna mow this, I'm gonna get on the inside and I'm gonna cut this down to about 2 inches. Okay, I'm gonna leave a little bit of leaf material showing. I don't wanna scalp it to the ground. I do need some green leaf material showing, because I'm gonna pick a day. Today's not a good day because it's a little bit breezy. And I'll come out here with Roundup. I'll do this in about a 2 week stage. I'll go around super low pressure and get right up against where I use my string trimmer to draw my line out. I'll take me a little piece of cardboard and stick it in that string and just put me a little bit right there, maybe about a 4 or 5 inch strip. So you'll see a dead strip of grass coming all the way around about 6 inches off of this orange line. Well, once I can see that brown, that'll kind of be my guide. I'll know that I'm ready to spray what's on the inside, and then I can just come through here and walk backwards and just kind of spray back and forth, really low pressure, because I don't want that Roundup to drift over on my turf. I definitely don't want it to drip up on my cryptomeria, but that's why I'll spray it one time a little strip using a piece of cardboard, being super safe. And then once that kind of yellows out a little bit, I'll have a guide to go by and I can spray all this. And then once that's done, I'll come back in here with a mower, and this dead strip of grass, I'll skin it down to the ground as low as the mower will cut it without hurting my mower, and I'll bag up the clippings and, you know, throw them away at the shop or something. And then I'll come in here, edge your beds out, and then I'll do my pine needles, and I'll be set for a season. So hey, I don't know, maybe you're looking for something like this. Maybe you need to do something like this in your yard, and you will need to make your beds bigger. You're having trouble growing turf up under a tree or beside a tree, or the north side of the house can be kind of difficult. That's one of the reasons on the back side of where I'm at now with the cryptomeria here and the test plot back there, is that section gets morning sun pretty much only. And then once the sun gets over here, like you see it now, this whole back side over here, let me show you. You see the difference? I'm just on the other side of this row of cryptomeria, and it's like this almost all day. This section is shady, and it's like that during the winter time for sure. When you get those days where you get longer daylight, of course this gets more sunlight during the day. But still, even at that, when the sun wraps around about over there where I parked my truck, all the way till about over here, none of this gets sunshine. And that's another, you know, with the trees getting bigger and coming out to the turf, and this is just a shady area anyway, that's kind of the reason. And because I want to match what I'm doing on the other side, that's kind of the reason why I'm gonna bring this out 3 foot too. All right, so there you go. Check out the description below. I've got an email list where I send the email out. I mean, I don't hammer folks with emails. I'm lucky to get one out once a month. During the busy time of the year, it might be a couple of months or so. Rarely do I send out more than that. But I just sent one out that goes over pre-emergent. Granular, liquid, that kind of thing, a little bit of fertilizer talk in there. So look in the description below. You can click on that and read that email I sent out. And if you want to be on my email list, it'll be right up under it. And read that email I sent, and that's kind of how I do my email list. That's kind of the stuff I go over and talk about when I do get a chance to send an email out. So hey, I appreciate you again. Thank you for watching, and be sure and subscribe to the channel. Got lots of cool yard videos, and we're gonna rock it out this year. My focus is to show you how to have some super nice, lush, thick turf. It ain't nothing like it. I love the grass when it is thriving. I have an extreme passion for turf. I absolutely love growing it, putting stuff on it, watching it, seeing what happens, seeing the results, the color change, the thickness, everything to do with turf. I eat it. I love it. I eat, sleep, and breathe turf. So if you come looking for a nice yard and wanting a nice yard, you're in the right spot. So be sure and subscribe to the channel. I'll check you later.